Welcome to the Ananda podcast. I'm Sammy.
And I'm Dylan. If you are on a journey to becoming the best version of yourself,
and you want to create a life beyond your wildest dreams, you're in the right place.
Let's dive in.
Welcome back to the Ananda podcast. Today we have Susan Benoit joining us. Susan is a breathwork and contrast therapy facilitator who got into this work after going through open heart surgery. After surgery complications, it was breathwork that changed everything for her. That experience changed the entire direction of her career, and now she works with women and children who are dealing with anxiety, panic attacks, and trauma. Thank you so much for being here, Susan. We're so excited to dive in.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh. I know we're going to have so much to talk about.
Yeah.
We first met last year.
Mm-hmm. Was it last winter?
At Winterlude.
Yeah.
We were doing an event together where you were doing breath work. And
we were standing out in the cold selling shroom soda.
And we were standing out in minus 25
Cold day.
selling shroom soda. And you guys had people cold plunging in minus 25. And then you had these great saunas that we kept sneaking into.
They started with the cold plunge though, not the sauna. No, they started
with breathwork.
Okay.
So
and then they went to cold plunge.
Focus, then went to cold plunge, and then they could sauna.
Okay, I'm a sauna first kind of guy.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. I think there's room for both of them, like to be both ways. But no, I do enjoy a good sauna before going into a cold plunge. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. Like, holy crap, your story is wild. Let's start from the beginning. How did all this happen?
God, yeah. So I've been in the health and fitness industry my whole life. Like that's kind of what I went to school for. I became a massage therapist. Then I went back, did some exercise science.
Nice.
Worked really high up in one of the large fitness chains in Canada and was overseeing personal training and all of that. Because I have a background in swimming and I was a high level swimmer, I then went back to coaching swimming. And so breathwork plays a role in that part. Swimmers do have good lung capacity.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're great breathers, but we have good lung capacity to be going off the walls, right? And underwater is really where you can lose or win a swim.
Yeah.
So breathwork has always been just like a minuscule part of my life.
Yeah.
But then I ended up suffering a stroke. And I laugh about these things because I just think that's how these all things play out. But I had a stroke and we had to figure out why I had the stroke. So long story short, we found out that I had a tumor inside of my heart. And so I was rushed in for open heart surgery.
God.
And so this tumor had taken over my left atrium and was going to start protruding into my right atrium. And so I was given about 8 months to live before this would have just like killed me.
Oh my God.
Given me a massive heart attack and just
Did you have any side effects before then?
No. And really, when I had the stroke and I went to the hospital, I didn't know I had a stroke. I had lost my vision. So it was during COVID, we took me there. They actually misdiagnosed me with MS and sent me home. So they did an EKG, blood work, CT scan, found nothing. And so she sent me home, and literally 5 days later, an ER doctor called me and said, I don't think this is the right diagnosis. I'd like you to come back in for an MRI.
Holy.
So if that never happened, I would have just passed.
Oh my God.
I would have just kind of thought.
Thank God for that doctor, right?
100%. So that's when I went back in, did an MRI, and they saw that I had a stroke to my left occipital lobe. So no symptoms prior to that.
Wow.
And so we did a bunch of testing, try to figure out where it came from. And the last test was an echo. And so I went into that appointment for the echo and never went back home. I went straight from the echo to the Heart Institute and got prepped for open heart surgery.
And were you in Ottawa at this time? Or were you?
Yeah, it was in Ottawa.
How long ago was that? Oh, so 5 years ago.
Yeah. 6 years. It'll be 6 years in August.
Wow.
Holy crap.
So that's really then where my life changed.
Yeah.
So after my open heart surgery and like full open, like chest sawed open, heart taken out, put on bypass.
Wait, your heart was taken out?
Yeah, to like remove the tumor because I get it fully taken out, like, right? So you're put on bypass to like...
I will say I'm not an expert in open heart surgery.
Yeah, so you saw open the sternum and like pry open the rib cage and then cut through, have to maneuver the lungs because you have to get to the heart.
Yeah.
Then the heart has to be like taken apart because I have a tumor full in the atrium. So they have to scoop it out and then put everything back together and wire me back together. So like my sternum is wired together.
Holy shit.
So
Susan, you're blowing my mind. I'm just like,
I'm feeling a bit faint.
yeah. Wow. So yeah, I was 39. And so, then I came home and you can't like lift anything heavier than like 5 pounds for 3 months.
Yeah.
You can't use your hands to like push out of anything. You can only sleep on your back because this has to heal.
Yeah.
And I thought I was doing really well. Like honestly, because I have a background in exercise science, like I knew my resting heart rate, I knew my blood pressure, I knew my breaths per minute, like I knew where I was at, and I thought I was recovering really well. You do get put through cardiac rehab. Mine got canceled because it was COVID.
Oh God.
So I had phone calls with a physio.
Phone calls.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the physio said to me, I feel like you are doing so well and I feel like you actually know more than me. And I was like, okay. And then we were done. I think I had 2 phone calls and that was it. I think it was about 6-7 months later, I literally had a panic attack at a grocery store, and I've never had a panic attack in my life. And so I had no clue really what was happening. And I just remember running out of a grocery store. Like it was one of those movies of like somebody has a cart full of groceries and I just crumbled. And my husband was with me and I ran out bawling and he was just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that just really, like I went down a like black hole.
Yeah.
And then it was constant anxiety every day. I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't take my kids to school. I could not do anything. And then I started to self-harm myself. And this is going to take a bit of a dark turn, but it's good. So like warning, I then had a failed suicide attempt.
Holy
and
shit.
I'm lucky, like I very great communication and support system. And I went to Andre. Well, he found me, but then it was just like,
and that's your husband?
Yeah, I need help, or this is going to happen again. Like, and I know it will, but we need to figure something out.
Wow.
Let's be honest. We're still, because COVID, let's be honest, lasted 2 years. So we're still kind of in that. To try to get a medical professional to see me was very hard. I didn't have a family doctor because I just moved here like 9 months prior to that from Alberta. Yeah. So it was really bad. And I'm very much I want to find the root cause. There's a reason why all of a sudden I am struggling with mental health when I haven't before.
Yeah.
And what is this? And so Andre actually contacted a like I didn't know him really well. Andre had known him for a bit, and he is a breathwork coach and like yoga coach and trauma informed and all of this, and was like, hey, I need you to work with Susan. And so he is in Brockville, Danda Lewis, and I will, like, to me, and I'll get emotional, like, he saved my life, literally saved my life. He got on the phone, on Zoom with me every day for 2 weeks straight and breathed with me.
Wow.
And started to work through the trauma of things. And that really just started to change. So, like, instead of waking up every morning and trying to see how I was either going to have another like ideology into how to end. Maybe I only cut myself a handful of times. And then it came to like, okay, I only took the razor with me into the shower, but I didn't do any self-harming. And then it got to the point of like, oh, I have something to live for. And like, I think that's the hard part, is that I have so much to live for. I have 3 amazing children. I have a phenomenal husband, an amazing family. But when you're in the depths of despair and literally have no clue what's going on, those are things that you literally can't even see. And so, yeah, he just spent so much time with me breathing, and I could just start to see the light and like see all of the good things. And then I was just like, oh my God, there's so much to this. And I think that our society I think the medical system is failing. And I think we're very quick to give drugs. And I'm not saying that drugs are bad. I think that there is a time and place for everybody. I'm just saying, like, I knew for me that was not the right scenario. And I just think that there's so many other modalities. And I don't think that we are taught to actually listen and know our body. And that's where I really wanted to dive into. Yeah. And so I just kind of like dove head first into like doing certifications and mentorships and just finding people in this field of breath work and trauma and just like giving that my all. And I just knew then that was my purpose in life. It was that what I went through was to lead me here. Because if I didn't have that, I would still be at some point somewhere in the fitness side of things. And as much as I love it, like this is truly my passion. Like I get so excited when I get to facilitate breath work or when I get to work in a group or one-on-one. And also just I thrive even spending so much time with myself in stillness and breathing, which I never would have said that before this. So yeah.
Wow.
So that's my story in a nutshell.
Holy shit. Like, I'm like crying. I'm like mind blown. I'm like,
I know this is a podcast, but I'm a bit speechless.
yeah.
There's so much we could talk about.
Yeah.
Encapsulated in that.
One thing I want to say is like, it's crazy that that we have the potential to even do a surgery like that, you know?
Yeah.
Because like a 100 years ago, like you would just, so it's like, for me, going through pregnancy was like this learning of not hating the medical industry as much, of like finding the balance of like where it's life-saving, literally, and then where we need to take in more of like you're saying these alternative modalities. And I feel like there's this, and your journey is another example of finding this balance between the two, because that saved your life and then this saved your life.
Well, it's
100%.
I find that
which is crazy.
The problem is that we live in a kind of a materialist society where they view the human ecosystem as a machine. And just like your open heart surgery, they think, well, if there's an issue, let's just, treat the result and, this should fix that. If we give them a drug, that'll help that or suppress that. But they're not really getting to the root cause.
Yeah.
Right. And
I will say this, that if my rehab wasn't canceled, because we can go down a rabbit hole with COVID, let's be honest there.
Yeah.
I think somebody would have given me fair warning, because they do say like that gets told in cardiac rehab that like it is very common. Like I think it's a very close to almost like 80 to 85% of people that have some type of like open heart surgery or deal with that will end up falling into some sort of depression or mental health, because there's a sever between that heart and brain connection.
Wow.
Because they're not repairing the nerves. They
have to regrow back.
Yeah.
I've had 3 pregnancies.
Yeah.
I would give birth back to back to back, then ever have to go through open heart surgery again.
Oh,
that was
I'm
the
sure.
most excruciating, painful thing I've ever gone through. Like you have to learn. It was just like, I just need you to walk for 10 minutes a day. And we had 2 minutes a day. And you have to learn how to breathe again, because you've been sawed open and then put back. That scar tissue restricts everything. And all you want to do is just breathe here, because you have this massive scar. And you'll see people that get like these heart pillows. It is because it is so excruciating, painful to do anything. Like you hold it, like you cough, you take these things for granted, like coughing, sneezing, that ripped my scar open.
Oh my God.
So I have a massive opening of my scar where now it's like it's scarred over, but because I sneezed and did not have that heart pillow on me.
Oh my God.
So, because your sternum is moving constantly every time you take a breath, every time you turn.
It's so incredible that trauma then turned into your purpose, and it's literally the same place of your body. And I feel like that is so common, and I'm so glad that you got through the darkness to find the light at the end of the tunnel, because now your journey is literally changing other people's lives.
Can I ask you something? So I know a lot of people I feel like most people nowadays go through some sort of, have mental health issues, right? Myself included. But I feel like a lot of people, they've been conditioned to believe that it's out of their control. This is just how they are. They need a drug. They're always going to be broken. That's how they see it. I hear that all the time. Going through your experience of healing, overcoming tremendous trauma and mental health struggles, what was that process like for you? How did you?
And what are your thoughts on that, I guess?
Yeah, like I think I think we use the word depression and anxiety very loosely. And everybody has some sort of, I'll use air quotes, mental health. And yes, I do think that we all struggle, but we are meant to actually go through that. That is your nervous system, to be able to move through hard times and come back in. I think that we are now, because we're an instant gratification society, that we need a quick fix. We need something that's really fast. Like you look at Ozempic, and again, everybody, you do you. Do you know what I mean? But a lot of people don't want to actually have to deal with root causes of why we have what we're going through. So when I all of a sudden I'm dealing with these like mental health and I'm now harming myself or having ideologies that I've never experienced, I am somebody that's like, I want to know why I'm there. That is not an easy process to now move through because you actually have to sit with all of the pain, discomfort, the things that we like to shove under the rugs and just keep going and take a pill and move through that. That was not what I wanted to do. And I knew that I was going to have to go through hell to come out on the other side. And I guess, again, I am lucky that I did have I know the body really well. I had to dive deeper into like the nervous system and like really trauma and stuff like that when I went through. But at the end of the day, it was just like, we are meant to heal. We are fascinating. We can grow a human being in our body. Yeah. Females. Do you know what I mean?
Incredible.
Like we can do so much.
Even going through what you went through, and then even though it's hard and even though it took a long time, you did heal.
Yeah. How could you not believe that your body is meant to naturally heal itself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like pretty much every drug that somebody takes to rectify something, we already have in our body.
It's true.
So if we're not producing it, enough of it, or something's being blocked, but we're already producing it, wouldn't you want to just be like, well, let's just try to fix that issue?
The root cause, yeah.
Like, let's get an oil change on the body and then like, you know what I mean? And then move that way. I don't want to be reliant on something. Yeah.
It's interesting because the way that I started on my spiritual path at like 13 because
I love that.
My whole life I really dealt with a lot of mental health struggles.
Yeah.
And one thing that I realized quite early and through experience, not just through reading, is that we've all lived before. It's my conviction that we've had many past lives. And if you look at the history of this planet, it's been extraordinarily dark. I mean, if you look at the things, like we think things are bad today, go read a history book because the horrific, unspeakable things that people have gone through the past 10,000 years on this planet, it's unfathomable. And we've all lived multiple lifetimes, hundreds, sometimes thousands. And those, we don't, through lifetime, we don't just shed all of those experiences. The earth is a schoolroom. And so through these successive embodiments, we pile up this trauma, this energy, these matrices within our energy field. And I think what happens is, if you have a completely dark room, if you're in a basement, can't see anything, right? If you start to slowly increase the light, there starts to become shadows. And you start seeing what's in the room, but it's distorted because there's not yet enough light. So if you look at the current state of affairs on earth, you see that people are going from a purely physical awareness, right, where it's survival of the fittest and it's cause and effect. Your human physical needs are the only things that matter. And as the light is being increased, as the awareness is slowly being increased, people are becoming aware of the things that are hidden within the subconscious mind. And we are not being shown how to deal with it.
Oh,
so it's
100%
terrifying for people. And as a society, this is the next phase of human evolution, is learning how to recognize these long hidden subconscious patterns and traumas from past lives and this life, and learning how to deal with it. And we have not risen to that awareness collectively as humanity.
North America definitely has not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you look at other cultures, like South Americans and indigenous, like all, like let's be honest, like they have been using modalities like this to work through all like that. And I've been lucky to do some of those things. And honestly, like I just think that you are so right. We don't know how to feel, and I think that's just getting worse because. I mean, oh my God, I feel like I go down through so many things, but like you even look at children, even at school, like we're now on laptops or iPads at such a young age. Like they're so numb. They don't know how to like have any type of creativity and be able to like actually deal with anything or just sit and be bored. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so I even said this in one of like my rants on social media of like, anxiety is not an emotion. Do you know what I mean? That goes with can go with fear, can go with excitement, can go with sadness, can go with joy. But we say anxiety all the time, where it's just like, why don't you say the emotion that you're feeling? Because people actually don't know what it is because they don't know where it's showing up in their body. Right. Fear and joy will never show up at the same place. And it will actually not have the same sensation. Yeah. And breathwork teaches you that. And
okay, let's dive into that now, because like this is obviously breathwork is a modality where you can dive into the subconscious and healing the trauma and getting to the root cause and feeling your emotions and actually working through these things. So what is breathwork? Yeah. What does it do? And
like I like to break the words up. It's work.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
I
Same
love
thing
that.
is like the breath is work. You're not going to just do, and depending on why you're wanting to have breath work done, let's be honest. I think that people can see breath work, and let's say you go to a yoga class and then you spend the last 5 minutes in Savasana and it's just like breathe. And people are like, oh my God, like I got to get up. This is boring. Right. Or then you see the things on social media where people are having these massive catharsis and like convulsing on the thing and oh my God, I've healed thousands of years of trauma, like whatever. I think that they both are misconstrued. I think that at the end of the day, breath work is literally going inwards and starting to listening to how you breathe. Your breath is the one thing that you have full control over. That you change your breathing and you can change how fast your heart rate is going. You can change blood pressure. You can change your nervous system. So that it will happen. It's the first thing that you did when you entered this world, and it's the last thing you're going to do when you leave. But you have full control over every breath you take during the day.
It's like it's doing it, your body's doing it on its own without you thinking about it, yet you can control it, yet 100%. Most people don't control
it.
Yes.
Change can never happen without awareness. So the more awareness you can bring into any situation, the easier it is to change.
And if you were to see a child, a baby, they have great mechanics of their breathing. They have full expansion of their ribs, 360 degrees. Like their belly isn't the first thing to move. Like the sides of the body moves. You put kids into a school system, you'll watch their breathing change automatically. This is why we have so many more kids that have ADHD, learning disabilities, can't focus. That comes down to oxygenation of the brain. Right. Well, how do you release oxygen? By breathing, by producing nitric oxide, which is through the nasal cavity, which vasodilates those blood vessels and capillaries to move more blood. But what do you need to release that blood or that oxygen out of the blood? Carbon dioxide. So everybody always talks about take a real big expansive inhale. My inhale isn't the issue.
It's the exhale.
It's the exhale. Because the exhale is what releases that carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so actually, how about control that exhale? Actually, how about match the length of your exhale to your inhale, or maybe start to extend it, because we know your inhale matches the increase of your heart rate. The exhale slows it over time. With extended exhales, that lowers your blood pressure, releasing more oxygen out of the blood to get into your tissue, cells, organs, to optimize better recovery, better brain function.
Yeah.
It's so mind-blowing because it's literally so simple, yet how many people are just
it's not sexy, it's not easy,
It's
and it
really
takes time.
hard. It's hard to go deeper, and it's not like taking a drug. Like, so if you take mushrooms, right, it's involuntary.
Yeah.
But when you go really deep into breath work, it takes so much perseverance and it takes so much will. But what it does is, from my experience, is it gets you beyond the linear mind, which is the greatest disease of our modern culture, is the intellectual linear mind, because we're constantly neuroticizing every part of our life. We're
100%,
overthinking.
always.
We're making ourselves the center of the universe.
Yeah, we're never present.
Exactly.
We're always in the past or the future.
I'm guilty of it.
I mean, we all are. And like, that's life, but it's like, that's it. Is that, so when somebody's like, and I do facilitate like 45 to hour longs and even longer, like breathwork sessions. And, if you're like, good, I don't know if I can like lay there. And I'm like, that's what we need to look at then. You know what I mean? So like, if you can't handle being still, why? And so like, that's where I'm going to lead you with breathwork of like, why do you struggle being in stillness? And let's be honest, we as society, especially here in North America, make stillness look as laziness. And those two are not the same, right? So in the world of everybody, probably look way more lazy than what I was before, working 80 hours a week for the largest fitness chain in Canada, and literally had no life and so stressed. Like, it made motherhood look easy to me. Do you know what I mean? Where now I'm just like, I know my body and my nervous system so well, but I create the time for that. And I am a way better mother, way better partner, wife, sister, daughter, all of that, because I actually can control the way that I react, because I take time to actually learn what my triggers are.
Yeah.
If we're getting triggered, I can guarantee right there, that's your breath.
Yeah.
If you could just stop for a second and slow your breath down, you would see something more clearly. Your breath is the first thing that reacts. Before anything happens, before you touch something, see something, your breath will react. All of us have been able to walk into a room and the hairs on our neck stand up, and you've either had like butterflies or something. Your breath has changed before that.
Wow.
Think about when you're pissed off at the kids. What happens?
Right?
But if you just take a breath, and this is like 30% of the time, if I take a breath, I'm like, whoa, new approach.
And we're all guilty of that, but that's the whole point, is like, and that's why I say like, learning your breath is work, because again, you do a session with a practitioner, and if they are a good one, they will give you integration tools. And that's the whole point, is like, it's work afterwards. You sitting there for the 45 minutes and either having some sort of release, and it doesn't have to be tears, but just like even feeling lighter or more room or more like all of that. That's the easy part. I need you now to look at the world through those eyes of your breath and being like, when did my breath change? And can I actually now change it back? Because you have full control over that. And that's why it's funny to see the ones that are like, come to me and then like and will either not come back. And not because I don't think they've had a great experience, but it's just like, they've realized this is work and I actually have to put time into it. And your diaphragm is a muscle like anything else. It's never going to fail though, like a quad or a bicep. It has to consistently always work. So you're never going to feel it be like tight and expired like any other muscle. That doesn't mean you don't work it, right? And just because you're breathing every day doesn't mean you're breathing optimally. So you have to make those changes. And so you have to spend some time on sitting and relearning and retraining to find the optimal breath pattern for you. And so that's why also, like, I'm not like a physio or a chiro that, like, I don't want to see you weekly. I don't actually probably even want to see you monthly. Like, I'd like to see you probably every like quarter or even maybe every 6 months, because I actually want to see the difference. And I want to see how you have been able to go out in the world, and now the things that triggered you, do you have the self-awareness to be able to stop, change your breath, or just even be aware of being like, that sensation. That's a new one for me. I need to discover that one.
Can I ask you, I kind of want to go back quickly to the trauma, depression, anxiety, because I feel like there's probably people listening who can relate to that. I almost, if you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but what I found is there's always a belief deep behind whatever anxiety or depression we're experiencing. What your process of healing, obviously we're all incomplete in that journey, but what did that look like? What were if you could just give an example of like maybe one shift that takes you out of such a dark place into a more aware space. I mean, people just don't know what that looks like, right? It's like, what does a shifting experience look like? What did that look like for you?
Or for somebody that you've had in your classes,
or it could be somebody
or
else
even
as well.
A bunch of
Because people don't know what that looks like. They've never been shown what it's like to actually transcend something, right?
Yeah. I think like this comes like with that this is your nervous system, right? I think we'll go back to use the easy words of people that we use the word safe. You gotta feel safe in your body. You gotta feel safe in your body. Like people are like, well, what if you've never felt safe? Like the thing is what we're looking for is, can you move in and out? So prime example, if I am in my depths of my depression and I'm self-harming and I am constantly cutting myself and being removed from wanting to do things with my children and stuff like that, your first step is then being like, okay, why do I not want to be with these people? Why do I feel like I'm a burden? And you're just trying to sit with those sensations. I think that we all think that we need to fix everything or have a answer to something. The body just needs to know that you're aware. That's safety, is that you're giving it awareness.
Right.
I think that we need to stop being like, this is how you're going to feel. Right. This is how this is supposed to look, right? To me, always when we are trying to move through something is the first step is awareness. I think it's the same thing when we say like, oh, I've done this, but like I keep snapping at my children and then that. And I'm like, that was awareness though, where before you never had that and you just kept doing it. But now you're like, I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
That's a great step. Like that is amazing to me that you just were aware of that. And then you acknowledge it. You don't need to figure out like why. And everybody's like that is like, what's the trigger? You know, and somebody will be like, oh, it's because of this. And let's be honest, I think a lot of people think, I think this could go again a lot of places.
Yeah.
My trauma from my surgery, yes, that severing of that heart and mind connection was severed, and everything came up. So we could say it was trauma from going through this all by myself during COVID, learning that I had a tumor all by myself in a room when somebody should have been in that room with me.
Right.
Because let's be honest, you hear some sort of devastating news. Do you think I even heard anything else that was being said at that point? But if somebody else was there. So that's trauma right there for me. Yep. So I walk into a hospital still, and I've done a lot of work, but I used to feel panic going into that. But there's also a lot of other traumas from childhood, from my young adulthood, things that like don't even represent that would come up. The body was like, whoa, we're going to deal with it all. You don't get to choose what's coming up. You don't need to always put words to it. But I need you to take back the power of those sensations and emotions, right? Because the trauma isn't what happened. It's that emotion that you put to it.
Yeah.
And so if it is like fear, I have fear, like going into hospital but that goes back. So like, again, this can go dark. Like there's fear of, I've been assaulted. Do you know what I mean? So like those sensation all feel the same and it all wraps up. Yeah. So I'm not trying to deal with those traumas. Right. I'm trying to take the power back of that fear emotion and know I have control of that. I get to decide when it shows up. I get to decide how much it's going to take over my body. I get to decide how I'm going to react to the rest of the world. There's no one I need to forgive in this world besides myself. Whatever has happened to us, we've all had traumas. And in the therapy world, people will say big T's, little T's. To me, that doesn't exist. Your trauma is your trauma. Mm-hmm. Your trauma is your trauma. My trauma is my trauma. So when people say to me, I haven't gone something like you have, that means crap to me. Because what happens and how you perceive it cannot be compared to somebody else. Mm-hmm. We all have our own nervous system, fascial system, all of that inside that responds to that. Can you forgive yourself to allow you to give power to somebody else to control you for that long? That is trauma and healing. Yeah. Can you do that? No one can take that away from, like, no one can heal that besides me. Mm-hmm. So it's just like people just being aware of that they are responding in a way that maybe isn't healthy. And that could be yelling at somebody or disassociating from somebody or just not like wanting to participate. Like, it can look in so many different ways. Can you be aware of it? Can you acknowledge it? Can you accept that that's how you're doing it? Can you take the choice now to make those changes? Mm-hmm. Can you forgive yourself for not allowing yourself to move through this at a sooner or faster state?
Mm.
Wow. So I want you to dive a little bit more into the breath work, like now you guiding people.
Yeah.
What people experience. Like if someone's never done breath work, if someone doesn't know even like really what it is and what the potential is, like how is it working on your nervous system? And then also getting into the fascia as well.
So I think this is also is that not all breathwork practitioners are the same.
Right.
So I think a lot of people, especially at first, because I do so much contrast therapy, are like, oh, Wim Hof, because like that is very well known, right? Of cold and breathwork. I don't do Wim Hof type of breathing at all. I don't think that's bad. I've done it. And I think that there's a time and place for every type of breathwork. Mm-hmm. Not all breathwork practitioners are going to go into nervous system like I do. Not all practitioners are going to go into the fascial network. Not all breathworks are going to be like, let's work on the modality of your breathing and really try to fix that. So it's just kind of like you shopping around for any type of health practitioner, whether it be a personal trainer, physio, chiro, doctor.
Right.
Do your research. Like, what are you wanting to achieve? And some people have no clue when they call me. Like, some people will send me a message and be like, my friend came and saw you. They said you changed their lives. I don't really know. And I'm like, perfect. We need to get on a call and I need to figure out what you're wanting to work with. Mm-hmm. So some people just call and they're like, I just know my breath is really bad. Perfect. I'll kind of just ask questions from that point. But when somebody comes and sees me, like I am going to be looking at their breath. And if I feel at that point, like that's where I'm working at is the restriction, like then we're not going into a, let's say, deeper journeying type of breath work. Right. We're going to work on the functionality of your breath work, meaning I'm going to work through mobility movements. I'm going to do fascial maneuvering. I'm going to use balls. I'm going to use everything to actually take away the restriction that has happened. Then there's other people that are like, I have suffered massive trauma and I need to work through this. Great. Then I'm building a breathwork session to try to help you work through that.
And is that like more like you're kind of guiding them on a journey where they're in their own head kind of facing their trauma and getting to that root cause or whatever?
Literally, I do an intake. Like I pretty much, you come in, like I've sent you an intake form. You would fill it out. You come and see me. We probably spend the first 30 minutes talking, and it's not like a therapy session. It's very much for like, Sammy, like, how was your day today? Like, how are things going? Like, how are the kids? We start talking. And as you start to respond, I see how your breath responds to the topics that we talk about.
Damn, this is cool. When are we setting up a session, Susan? This is awesome.
I think Sasha wants a team session. She's like, yeah.
Okay, we do like team retreats. Yeah. Like next thing we're doing.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking at. Yeah. And so like I'm making it a very like back and forth conversation. And, you know, when somebody says something and it resonates, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I understand because I've gone through that. Like I am trying to break down some walls. Most people feel pretty open coming to me. But again, that's why I'm very big on creating a space that when you come and see me, that it feels like, oh, I can like let my hair down or like I want to take my jacket off and I want to stay a while.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing how you respond to that. Yeah. I'm also picking up on the words that you continue to say to me because when we have traumas, again, the subconscious will come through and we will pick up on the things and we will say things repeatedly. and I will pick up on that. And that's how I build your session.
What kind of examples do you have of somebody that's like a word that they're saying, and then you're like, this means this, like how you're connecting it?
So like I'll have people come in and like, especially like I would say I see a lot of women, you know, that have kids and everything, and now are like, I'm going to say dealing through their own childhood stuff. And everything kind of seems to come back to like moms, right? Like issues with their moms or like childhood traumas with their moms. And so I think a lot of people think that's what you're coming in to see me. If we are talking about that, but let's say something else keeps coming up, and I'll use an example of like I had a client and like that's what I think she really thought she was coming to see me for, is like we're going to work through issues with mom. But what kept coming up was her brother, and that her brother, she really looks to the approval of her brother of whether or not she wants to cut off this relationship. And so his name kept coming up over and over and over again. I knew this session had nothing to do with her mother. This session had full to do with her brother.
And that is so common, is when like somebody thinks they've figured out what's bothering them, but it's totally a front for like the root thing that's bothering them. And I'm sure that probably in talk therapy that comes up a lot, but also in something like this where...
And I will say like a lot in talk therapy, and again, I've been in talk therapy since I was 15, so I get it. And I think this is where breathwork goes, is because like your subconscious, again, when you do a breathwork session, again, somebody will come in and think that they are, I want to deal through this trauma.
Yeah.
But your body doesn't lie. And again, the subconscious doesn't. So on these words that I pick up, I will kind of guide your session through that. But at the end of the day, you can't have an expectation, because what's going to come up through your own subconscious, I can't control that. We can't say this is what's going to happen, because it's not. Right. So I always say no expectations. You can have an intention, but no expectations. Yeah. In talk therapy, I'm very good at this. If I feel like you're getting too close, the walls are going up and we're staying in this box of talking, and I don't care what you do. Right. You don't have that control in breathwork. Yeah. Unless you don't want to even do the breathwork. So then I'm like, that's pointless. Why are you coming? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So there does also, that's why I'm very big on, we always talk about like, you have to have the safety in your own body for you to heal. Yeah. You also have to feel safe in the container. And that's my job. Yeah. And that's my job, to build the container to make sure that you feel safe enough to actually let go. And that's why I always say, like, don't force anything. And we talked about that. Like, if you were to fall asleep, I'm happy with that. Yeah. There's two reasons for that. Again, either you don't sleep very well in the first place, and the body's like, you've created enough space for me to sleep here and rest, I'll take it. Or you are in your own head and I need to shut you down to get you out of your own way. Wow. Because your subconscious will still take in the words that I give you. Yeah. And what your breath is wanting to release and relax. Yeah. So
I've been to breathwork, and I'm sure you experience this all the time, where it's like, you know, sometimes people are crying, sometimes people are laughing, sometimes people are screaming, and it's all these amazing releases. And when I did it the last time, and this was in Arizona, so it wasn't with you, but at the end, that was the guidance. It's like, if you need to cry, cry. Yeah. And then it was like, okay, and she had a drum too, and she was taught by a bunch of Indigenous people in like Sedona and stuff. But yeah, then it was like everyone was just like letting out whatever noise, and like the whole room is just screaming and yelling and howling, and it was so cool. And then it was laughter, and it was like this amazing release. And
I'm not much of a group breathwork
guy. How do you do you guide people that way, or like do you kind of let people have their own experience? Or
I think it just kind of depends on like what it is. Do you know what I mean? So not everybody likes group. Like some people really prefer one-on-one, so that they can just do whatever needs to be done and process, and don't want to get distracted by other noises. Where some people love being in a group because then they feel the collective and they can build off of that. It's kind of, I think I always go back to like gym, and like some people love to just strength train and do their own program, and some people love to go to group classes. Yeah. You find what works out best for you, right? For sure, and what builds off of that. I'm very much of this. I am very much a sit back facilitator. I will guide, I will give words, but at the end of the day, I do not ever want to be some sort of performance. And I'm not saying those people are at all, because do you know what I mean? But I'm very much of like, I want you to do all the work and I need you to get there, because at the end of the day, I'm not always going to be there.
Yeah.
And you are the one that needs to continue on this. So, but I think it also, you work with where you're at. So like same thing. I'm big on music and creating like playlists and like really curating. So when somebody sends me an intake form, like I'm creating a playlist on what I am feeling that they've sent me through. When I do group classes, I take a lot of time to curate that. I remember doing a retreat and all of a sudden it was like, we went into the forest and I was like, no music. Like we are going to just do this like raw and we're just going to let nature take its course and see. And so I'm very much of like, I will match the energy and what is being presented, because that's my job. You know what I mean? Is to make sure that everybody feels safe, held, and heard in that time.
I love it.
So, and I think it just really depends, because right, I do work with younger adults, children, working on functionality of their breathing. Right, I do a lot of one-on-ones with a lot of like PTSD, a lot of trauma. I've worked with quite a bit of like retired like military and stuff like that, police and everything. Then a lot of women that are just kind of like working through like limiting beliefs, all of that. But then like I will do like breathwork series. So like I just finished a 4-week breath and fascia series. Do you know what I mean? So like working through that fascial networking and incorporating your breath into it to make sure that people really understand what's going on.
So cool. I feel like we're gonna have to have you back on the next season for like to go into all of that stuff, because
Not only that, I'm booking my session.
yeah, we're definitely okay. So we're gonna get into the final questions, and then I definitely want you to mention
Where they
the
can find
new-
you.
and your new project.
Okay.
Okay, so in the past, is there a moment that you wish you had followed your bliss more?
No. No.
Wow.
I live with no regrets. Everything that has ever happened in my life has led me to this moment.
Love
and I wouldn't change a thing.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Hot damn.
What does finding your bliss mean to you right now?
I'm in it. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm lucky every day that I wake up and I'm still alive and I get to do what I love doing. I could be, tired from 3 children, running a business, all of that. But when I get to walk into a room, whether I'm facilitating one-on-one or a group, I am reminded how lucky I am in this moment to be here with these people who trust me.
Wow.
And to me, that I can't think of anything better than that.
It's so amazing. What's next for you? What are you working on to bring more bliss into your life?
Yeah. Gosh. I'm a work in progress. Do you know what I mean? Like I am still figuring myself out. I think as we all are, I still have my own breath coaches and all of that I continue to keep making sure that I'm just continuing to being better and better for myself, but also for my clients. And then I think just continuing to build out my dream of being able to facilitate on whatever stage that I can be, and surrounding myself that are wanting to do that alongside me. So
speaking of, what's the new projects you're working on?
Yeah. So, me and my business partner, Tarek, are opening the first Breathwork studio in Ottawa. So it will be where we are running Breathwork certifications and workshops, and we'll do some classes there. And so that will open. The first kind of little phase of it will open in May when we run our next cohort of Breathwork certification classes. And then there will be a cold plunge and a sauna there. So that will happen. And it's in Nepean. It's kind of halfway between me and Tarek, since he's off of Vanier and I'm in Stittsville. So we're let's meet halfway. And then just continuing to work on that. We're going to Toronto to speak at CanFit Pro.
Nice.
And yeah, we're just trying to continue to bring breathwork kind of to the forefront, but more in a, not one or the other. I find that either people are very just this is the science and this is how you fix your breathing. And then like very much this is trauma and like, let's go on this wild ride. And me and Tarek are very much of like, they can't coexist without one another. If you don't fix breath mechanics, you're always going to have resurfacing those triggers. And so you need both of them. If you want to just work on that trauma side, then the mechanics of it, like it's never going to stick.
What's your space called?
So I've taken my business and put it under his. So like he has Submerge Wellness. And so we'll still do events, but then the breath work side of it will be called State Shift.
Okay. Cool. I love it. Yeah. Well,
awesome.
Number one, congratulations. And number two, I just want to acknowledge you for just the incredible journey that you've been through and your perseverance and the way that you've allowed your adversary and challenges to become a gift to literally thousands of other people. So you're so inspiring, and we're so glad that you got to come on.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. I feel very honored.
Well, we're going to have you come back, especially once you open that business. We'll have to come back in the fall.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah,
totally.
that would
100%.
be really cool.
Yes. And we'll dive deeper into like the fascial side of things and all of that.
And contrast therapy. We didn't even get to talk about that. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. If this episode inspired you or made you think of someone, please send it their way. We would love for it to help them too, and it really helps the podcast. Follow along at Ananda Elixirs on social media. We can't wait to connect with you.